Hey everyone, and welcome to the New Norm with Selena Hill on Black Enterprise. Today, I have the pleasure to speak with Grammy-nominated R&B artist Jazmine Sullivan about her partnership with Novartis for the More Than Just Words campaign, which addresses disparities in breast cancer for Black women. Now, Jazmine, you've been having an incredible year. Before we talk about this partnership and this amazing campaign, we got to talk about Hotels, which you released in January. You have this chart-topping single, Pick Up Your Feelings, which is a certified banger, gold, can't get enough. It's one of those songs like you have to just keep listening to it. You just can't even get tired of it because it's just so layered. And then, and your epic Super Bowl performance will forever be etched in all of our minds. So I just want to ask, how are you with all of these things going on?
I feel amazing. I am so blessed that I'm able to do what I love and that I am getting this recognition for my craft. Things have been really, really, really good. A lot of opportunities that I never even dreamed of happened. Obviously, the Super Bowl, I never thought in my wildest dreams I would be singing the national anthem, and to get that opportunity blew my mind.
It blew us away too.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think for many of us who've been following you, like we knew your vocal range and we knew you've been putting in work. I think you started your career as a child, right? At 11, you auditioned for the Apollo.
Yes, I started as a kid. I started singing in church, and my mom, I'm so grateful for the parents that I had because they nurtured my gift and they really just allowed me to be me and find who I was. And my mom has really just been my biggest cheerleader all my life. Like I probably wouldn't even be doing this if it wasn't for her. Like she pushed me to be the best version of myself and still currently pushing me to be the best version of myself. So, I'm just grateful for her and just her love and guidance and just seeing that I had a gift and being like, do that. Like that's what you're destined to do, pushing me to do it.
Well, speaking of your mom, you announced publicly in late 2019 that she was diagnosed with breast cancer. How is she today?
My mom is really, really good, man. She's awesome. She is discussing dyeing her hair like platinum blonde. So
yes,
she's feeling really good. Things have gone really well with her treatment and everything. So we're really blessed and just trying to do everything that we can to help women kind of navigate, what she went through with breast cancer and hopefully not even go through what she went through. But we're blessed. We're really blessed.
When you were talking about your mom being, a big part of your life, biggest cheerleader, I think of my own. She has always pushing me to be the best. And it's something about moms when they see your potential and they're like, oh no, you're going to live this out.
Yeah.
So, how did you deal with, your mom just even being diagnosed with breast cancer, especially because she was your manager and such a pivotal part of your life and your career?
It was the scariest thing and the hardest thing I had to deal with. The person that is the biggest really influence in what you do and just your life and who you are as a person, to picture them not on this earth is really just the scariest thing ever. But I made a decision very early that I had to be positive about what was about to transpire and what we were going through, because her not being here was just not an option for me. So when I said I literally got on my knees and started praying to God for guidance and to help us through, that's what I did. And as a family, like we came together and just covered her and everything, every aspect of her life to make sure that she knew, number one, that she wasn't alone and that God had us and that we were going to fight and beat this thing. And that's what we're doing. And I'm so glad that I have the opportunity with Novartis and More Than Just Words campaign, because I feel like it was destined for me to be here and to do this, going through it with her, and just my passion for Black women and how much I love us and I want us to continue to be on this earth and continue to spread our light and be the magical, wonderful beings that we are. And I'm so happy that I'm able to do that with this campaign.
Yeah, absolutely. And we definitely want to dig into the campaign. And before we do, I'm happy that you spoke about the spiritual aspect of it, because a fight against breast cancer is physical, it's mental, and it's spiritual as well. As all of these things. Can you just talk about where you found your strength and peace, especially when it looked really grim? Like, I know you said your mom's doing phenomenal now, but I'm pretty sure there were moments or days where it didn't look good.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've always been Christian. I grew up in the church, but when you go through something like this, it just tests your spirituality in a different level, and that's when you really have to activate your faith. And that's what we did, man. Because getting that diagnosis, it looks grim. It's like, it seems like a death sentence. And for a lot of Black women, it is. But we believe in the power of prayer, and we believe that God will see us through, and He did. And I'm forever grateful for what God has gotten us through, and this test that He gave us. And our spiritual aspect was the biggest aspect of this. Like, we really had to trust in God, and He did His thing.
Yeah, amen. Amen. You preaching on a Sunday, girl. So I'm so happy that you also mentioned just like the disparity with Black women when it comes to breast cancer. Research actually shows that that Black women with breast cancer are approximately 40% more likely to die compared to white women with breast cancer.
Yes.
What did you learn? Did you learn about these statistics during the journey? Talk about how you just really leaned in to the disparities, the racial disparities when it comes to breast cancer.
Yes, well, yes, I actually did learn this specific number through the More Than Just Words campaign. It was jarring to hear 40% more likely to die than white women. Also, I believe I read that Black women 35 and under are twice as likely to be diagnosed with breast cancer than white women at the same age. So the numbers are jarring, but I think as a Black person, we are used to kind of getting the short end of the stick, and we're used to disparities in our education system, the judicial system, housing, income. We're used to that, but that's why this campaign is so important, because they are really doing the work to drive the health equity in breast cancer care, and they really care about that. And I'm not just partnered with them just for GP. Like, I went on the website, I checked everything out. The advisors that they have are Black women. Obviously, I'm an advisor, my mom is an advisor, so they are hearing these stories from Black women's mouths so that we can help and figure this thing out and get Black women to go and get screenings. And I always say, I don't think that you can tackle Black issues without Black people at the table. And so they really are concerned about that. And that's why I'm really, really happy and passionate about working with them.
I want to talk more about the campaign, more than just words. What does that mean to you, especially as someone like you who have such a way with words? Like, your pen is so powerful.
Thank
so
you.
You know the power behind words. What does more than just words mean to you in this campaign?
I mean, listen, more than just words is what it says. They're not just talking about it, they're being about it. And like I described, you can't tackle Black issues if you don't have Black people present and there to share our stories and tell you how we think, tell you, what we go through on a daily basis. You can't do that unless you are hearing from us. And that's what they are doing. And also, with me as an advisor, telling our Black women to go get screenings and to take care of yourself. Do what you need to do for yourself. I know as a Black woman, a Black woman, that we are so used to kind of taking care of everybody else and making sure that the kids are good, our man is good, our partner is good, our moms, everything else, but we usually don't take care of ourselves, or we're the last person that we think of. But making sure that we are a priority, we make our health a priority. And that's really the message that I want to drive home to us as Black women. Like, girl, go get your mammograms, go get your screenings, girl, and do what you need to do for yourself.
One thing I love is that you took probably the biggest storm of your life, one of the biggest storms of your life, and you've turned it into a moment of healing and empowerment for other women, particularly Black women.
Yeah.
What prompted you to take this diagnosis and take your journey and say, you know what, I'm going to advocate for more equitable care for other Black women who are going through this?
I mean, I just think me getting older, I realized that life is really about more than just yourself. Like, you know, you go through a lot of your early ages kind of just focused on yourself and how, you know, to advance your own life and do what you need to do for yourself. But you get to a point where you're like, you know what? I want deeper meaning in my life, and that includes helping other people, like thinking outside of you, just you specifically. And that's where I'm at in my life, where I'm just like, this is something that we went through, that we had a test in, and I want to help other people figure this out, because it was so hard. It really was the hardest thing that I went through. And I'm like, I'm not just going through this just for me to get through it, or just for my mom to get through it. I'm going through this to be a help, be an aid for other people. And it just gives you just a deeper meaning to life.
When your mom was first diagnosed, and also like just throughout their journey, what was it like for you going through it with her? Did it affect you personally? Did it affect your career? Anything you were working on?
I mean, definitely. When I got her diagnosis, you know, nothing else mattered to me but my mom, and try to preserve her life and save her life. Like, that's the only thing I could think of. But like I said, at that point, like, you have to make a decision to be positive and be like, you know what, I know what the doctors say, I know what the research says, but I'm going to believe something different. I'm going to believe in God. And so it definitely just made me a better believer, just a better person in general. It made me appreciate every part of my life more. The fact that I'm able to do what I love as a career, like, I appreciate that so much more. My loved ones, that I can still like call them on the phone. You appreciate every little detail in life after you go through that experience.
I can imagine. How do you think it sort of changed your mom and her perspective on life?
I think it makes her appreciate being here as well. My mom is
she with you?
Right here.
Oh, hi, mama.
She's right here. I know for a fact that part of what drove her to kind of keep going was the fact that she still wanted to be here with her children and with her husband. She still feels like, you know, she has so much to offer us, and she does. Like, every day I'm learning something new from my mom, and that I appreciate too. I'm like listening so much more intently than I was before. Like, God really designed you and put you here to help me. And I think that you know, she knows that she has more life to live, and that's why, you know, we're doing this. We're partnered with Novartis because, you know, we want to share our experience, and we want to help Black women through, you know, breast cancer, and not go through what we went through.
And through the awareness, because I don't think, like you mentioned the statistics about you know, women at 35 being diagnosed with breast cancer. I don't think in mid-30s women are even thinking about, you know, getting screenings or mammograms, because we're just not thinking about cancer.
Right.
Why is it important? Right, go ahead.
Right. Listen, because when I remember when I was younger, I thought the age was like 40 or 45. So obviously, you know, the number has gone down, and me and my girlfriends are in our mid 30s now. So I'm having those conversations with my girlfriends now as we speak, like, girl, you know, are you set up to get your mammograms? We're talking about it. And that's why I'm grateful for Novartis, because it, you know, as well as my mom's diagnosis, it just brings it to the forefront. And yes, it puts all the numbers and everything in our face, because we need to see it, because we don't usually think about it. Like I said, we think about everything else besides our health. And so campaigns like this bring the information to the forefront so we can make it a priority.
Absolutely. And, you know, you just speaking on behalf of Black women and just advocating for us in the healthcare system and in just the healthcare space, I think it's so on brand, because your voice for Black women is so, so powerful. You know, I mentioned the power you have with words, you know, your range, but also your lyricism, you know, just to switch gears a little bit and talk about your latest project, Hotels, and just what you've done with your career. You're always speaking up on behalf of Black women. Can you talk about just your inspiration? Like, is that something that's intentional, or are you just being who you are and just, you know, speaking on behalf of aunties and mamas and all of us?
I think for the early part of my career, I was literally just telling my story, and I just think it resonated with Black women because, you know, we share a lot of the same things. But just recently, it became intentional where I was like, the conversations that I have in my household with my friends, with my mom, I feel like people need to hear that because it's so much gold in that, it's so much wisdom and so much love. And I wanted people to hear that so that they can get what I was getting, because I feel like I'm a better person because of the women around me. And so it was important for me to let people hear those stories. So number one, they could feel seen, and number two, hopefully they can grow from it. And that's the response I've been seeing. Like, number one, thank you so much for telling that. I feel the exact way. Also, oh my gosh, I learned so much about myself. Like, from hearing that girl's story, I was able to like look deep into myself and see, you know, something about myself or that I need to change, or, you know, that I didn't know. And so it's intentional now. And especially with more than just words, it's intentional for me to speak up for Black women and just make sure that we're here on this earth so that we can continue just to shed our light, spread our light, and be amazing, and just be on this earth and be the dope women that we are.
Oh yeah, and you're one of the dopest. You know, one thing you talked about on Hotels is just body image, the shame that I think a lot of us carry, all women, specifically Black women. You're very vulnerable. You're very honest about that. And I feel like we live in a society where it's like, well, if you don't like something, fix it, pay for it, enhance it, shrink it. What are your views on just the pressure that Black women and artists like yourself have to fit this perfect mold, this perfect body?
I mean, the pressure is real. Listen, you know, society wants so much from women, period. They want us to be just these perfect images.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's important that you love yourself first and foremost. And one way that I specifically do it is I like limit my interaction on social media, because I just feel like social media is grounds for you to judge yourself very, very harshly and in an unrealistic way. So like, I take breaks from social media. Like, if I feel like I'm looking at somebody and I'm like, dang, I wish I looked like that, or I wish my career was like, I'm like, you know what, that's not right. And I get off of it, because, you know, it really robs you from like loving and enjoying and appreciating who you are. And so yeah, that's what I do for myself as far as the expectations.
Oh yeah, a social media break is something I think we should all incorporate into our lifestyles, because like you said, you can't help but to just naturally compare yourself.
Yeah.
And you'll end up feeling so bad and not looking at everything you have because you're focused on everything you don't have.
Yeah, but
But
also I don't want to act like, yeah, listen, if you want to get something tweaked, or you feel like you want to do something for yourself, do that. Like, it's my point is, it's your world, squirrel. Like, do what you want to do for yourself. Like, you know, whatever you feel like, but just know that who you are is amazing, and it's perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, just if you want to make tweaks or whatever, you do that, but don't make the tweaks to fill a void that's inside. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, do what you want to do, but just know that who you are is amazing, and love yourself.
no, we got you.
Yeah.
We hear you. I just feel like sometimes we put so much pressure on fitting again society's perfect image, and we change everything on the outside. But what about that work on the inside? Are we doing that? Because you talk about loving yourself. What was your journey like to get to a place where you really authentically love yourself?
Yeah, it's been a hard journey, and I'm still doing it. But like, one thing that I'm doing now is I'm going to therapy. So I'm taking care of like my inward, my mental, it's so much stuff on the inside of you that a lot of people just don't deal with. And those things influence how you see yourself, how you move around in this world. And so until you deal with that, you know, you're moving like an injured player, like you're moving not whole. And so you know, that's important to me. And I'm so happy that I started that journey. It's recent now. This is like my first my first session, but I'm an advocate for therapy. I haven't been happier, like actually expressing myself. I feel like I've been writing songs, right? And I've been writing my story, but I haven't been dealing with the issues until I got into therapy. Like that's a different thing. Like you writing it and you telling the story, and then you like going in there and you digging in and you like dealing with it, letting some stuff go, bringing some stuff up. So I'm an advocate for it.
Girl, so am I. But you just said something that's so powerful just now. It's one thing to identify the issues,
Yes.
which you've been doing through your work, your music, and your craft, but to do the work to resolve it, to heal, to be it's twofold.
That's another side of it. Yes. And I think people get it mixed up where they're like, oh, I'm talking about it. I said it. No, okay, you said it, you see it, but like, are you dealing with it? Did you let it go? Did you bring it up? Did you let it go? So I'm finally doing that, and life, I don't know, it's just like things are feeling a lot easier than they were before. Like things feel good.
We're so happy to hear that. And you know, another thing we're happy for you is you found love. Mm-hmm. You've been in a 3-year relationship.
Yeah, I think it's going on 4. Yeah.
Going on 4. Is everything, how is that? Or are we gonna hear a certain song in your next album about this relationship going?
Oh, like a love song? Yeah, probably. I mean, I write what I'm going through. So it'll probably be a love song. In the next project. I was really though trying to write about like what this project really was more so almost like not love letters, but more like diary entries to like, if I could talk to myself like through my 20s, it was like that type of messaging for hotels. But yeah, it'll probably be some love songs. We are doing amazingly. My parents love him. You know, he's good. So.
I love it. Are you guys talking about like the forever, happily ever after?
We've had discussions about it, but we're good. Like, we're not rushing anything.
Okay.
You know, we're good where we are, and like where life takes us, we'll deal with that when it comes. So like, we just happy, just enjoying each other.
Absolutely. And we're so happy for you. Thank and you. Your success personally and professionally. I feel like that's a hard balance, right? We see people who are thriving in their career, but sometimes the love life is not doing well, or vice versa. Mm-hmm. How do you sort of balance both? Because you definitely have to put in work into your career and in your relationship if you want it to be successful.
I think if you are, number one, if you're with the right person, I think that things will kind of fall in line. I think a lot of the time with me, I was with people that I kind of shouldn't have been. And so it was always a discrepancy about like work and like the relationship. But if you're with the person, I think that you're supposed to be with things are easy. Not that they can't get hard, but things kind of just fall in place. So that's my experience, is that you know, I feel like he is a good fit for my life, and he encourages me to be who I am, and he don't stand in the way, and like our relationship never even gets in the way of what I'm doing. Like, it don't get in the way. Like, if anything, it helps, you know, with what I want to do in life. So you just got to find somebody that's like cheering you on, like, you know, wants the best for you.
Right. And I'm sure you want the best for him. You know, that's a beautiful thing. Now that the world is sort of like opening back up, is there one thing that you miss and look forward to doing more of in our new norm?
I miss not wearing a mask. We
all do, because it messes up your lipstick too. Like,
yes, it does in a way, but I still wear it though. But I miss shows, like live shows, and like touching people, and like going to shows and they're singing your lyrics and stuff like that. So I can't wait till I'm able to do a live show with hotels specifically, because I feel like girls, when I say I think they're gonna turn up for hotels,
oh yeah,
they're gonna go in there and like all the energy from just like being locked away for so long, like we are gonna lose our minds on tour. So
it's gonna be a good time. I gotta see you perform hotels for 100%, because that's gonna be the energy in the room, like you said, is gonna be dynamic.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. It's gonna be like, woo, we're gonna have fun.
Another thing I think we've all been excited about since we've been in the pandemic is just verses. I'm sure you've been tuned in. Do you have like a favorite or an ideal versus match that you think would be super, super epic?
I don't know. For me, I feel like I mean I have hits and I have, you know, great songs or whatever, but I feel like because I took like such long breaks, I took as long as breaks as I wasn't in the industry. But I don't know. I probably wouldn't do a versus, but I love watching them. Like I love hearing the catalogs from all the artists, and it brings back all the memories that you had when you heard the songs. But I don't know who I could see myself with, or if I would
even do it.
Yeah, I'm and plus I'm like super shy, so like I'd be like hiding.
But on that stage, you just tear it up.
Thank you.
Do you feel shy when you're on stage performing too?
Not on stage, and especially not at like my own concerts, my own shows, because I feel like everybody's there. They know me through my music, and like, you know, everybody's kind of rooting for me already. So I like feel almost like I'm at home. So it feels good to like do those shows.
That's a good point, because like on a stage like Versus is opening it up to everyone, right. Fans, you know, people who may not be as familiar with your music, people right. who may be more critical. So no, right. I get you, girl.
Right. They judge you from a different point of view, as if you do a show with your own fans, they love everything you do. So that's why they're there.
Absolutely. So we know we do have to start to wrap this conversation up, but it was so good to talk to you, Jazmine. And again, if you could just let us all know how we could sort of lean in and tap into the Novartis more than just words campaign. How can we learn more about breast cancer, and how can we support the campaign?
Yes, you can learn more and support the campaign by going to morethanjustwords.us. That's where I got pretty much all of my information that I learned recently. And yeah, just go there and learn all the information.
Absolutely. So definitely head over there. One thing I forgot to ask you, do you think you would incorporate your mom's journey into your writing or into a song? Would you do something like that and actually release it publicly?
Possibly. I probably will one day. I never know. I never go into like writing knowing like what exactly I'm going to write about. Like it kind of just unfolds. So like if I find like the perfect music or it's the perfect vibe, anything can come out. So that's could happen.
Well, we're looking forward to your next we're bumping this project.
Yes.
Forward to the next one, because I know I read that said that you're not going to take a long break again.
No.
So, okay, so we're going to continue to support you. We'll look out for the next project. Everyone, if you haven't downloaded Hotels, make sure you do that. It's a very moving album. Check it out. Support Jazmine Sullivan, and thank you again.
Thank you.